and we'll see what the bans are.
Yeah, probably going to take the way that LeBlanc and the Xerath again, I would imagine.
Will they possibly ban the Maokai if they don't plan on taking it themselves?
I think Samsung, or IM, is still going to try and pick it up. They did get it pretty far down in the draft in the second round of their draft from the blue side.
I want you to know, Monte Cristo, Ezreal's banned right now.
Thank you. I wrote it down this time too.
Let's make a note of this.
I'll remember. I made a note of it last time. I just can't read my...
Let's make a mental note of this. Your handwriting is really weird, though.
It's great.
Monty's capital letters are like gigantic, and the rest of it's like really tiny. I'm not sure if he's just like practicing signing autographs with all the champions. Like he wants to like dress up like one someday and sign it. Best wishes, Morgana.
That's how I'm going to fool people when they ask me for my autographs in the future.
There you go.
I'm just going to only sign champion names from now on.
I'm just going to do Mortal Kombat character names, but I'll just do it really scraggly so people won't know.
What's your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
Cabal.
Interesting.
He's actually OP in Mortal Kombat 3.
I like Scorpion.
Scorpion's a classic. You can respect that. I was always more of a Sub-Zero man myself, but overall, Cabal's my favorite.
I like throwing spears at people.
That's true. Spears with strings on them. It's not really a spear. It's like a knife with a rope attached more than anything. Get over here.
That's what I used to say to people. And then you uppercut them.
You stab them in the jugular and pull them over. That old uppercut. There we go. So Veigar, Xerath banned out. Corki as well. So trying to just take out that double AD from IM, and that's exactly what they'll do.
And the Xerath gone as well. So what will Frozen play? I really hope we finally get to see his Cassiopeia or his Victor, which have been widely feared in solo queue for a long time now. So he's actually walking into this meta surprisingly well prepared.
Yeah, no kidding. At first it was like, oh, those are kind of unique picks for him to be good on, and now it's like, oh.
I am really on the bleeding edge.
No
Chusin with the Veigar, Frozen with the Cassiopeia, and then the Victor as well.
The prophets of the Korean scene.
So everything's falling into place for Incredible Miracle.
Looks like it's going to be a Lissandra for Samsung unless they swap that. They will take away the Maokai. I think that's more wise.
After that last game, and considering we know that Kuve prioritizes it as well, I thought that this may become the most contested pick, and without a ban, it does go for the first place in the draft. Now, I am looking at that Rek'Sai.
Are we going to see Ares on his first jungler that's not Jarvan?
I think that'd be good to see a little bit of diversity from Incredible Miracle. I'm wondering what Lilac is going to play into this Maokai.
Yeah.
Rumble is gone, and he has been defaulting to that. He's played Hecarim himself.
True. Scion. Let's make it happen.
Scion's disabled on this patch.
Yeah, I know. It's too bad. We can still make it happen, but it's not allowed.
All those rules getting in the way.
Yeah.
Taking a long time thinking about this one. They will draft the Lucian early.
I was imagining they'd probably do that. Ezreal, Corki out of the way. Sunstar is a well-known Lucian player.
Yeah, we haven't seen him play much of it since the preseason, though, but he was impressive.
Yeah, look good.
Several months back on that champion. And keeping Fury on his back foot is important as well. This Nidalee, more than likely, will be the jungler for Samsung that has been sort of their default pickup. And they will take the Graves potentially into the Lucian. That's not a matchup that we see too often. Mostly Graves and Lucian picked into Corki.
Well, Graves would be a little bit more resilient to the poke from Lucian. And especially with that shield from Janna, Graves could really get in there and do some good trades, I think.
And Janna's shield also really helping out with his burst damage in terms of his abilities as well. Adding that extra AD does make him quite dangerous early, not only for his autos, but for the scaling that he receives.
It's a big chunk of AD, too, that you get from that shield.
Yeah, 50 at max level, so plus AP ratios as well, depending on how much Janna has. And there we go. Graves and Janna are locked in.
Frozen going back and forth between Lux and Cassiopeia. I think the Cassiopeia is going to be the way to go here, but we'll see what he locks in.
And will we see that Lissandra this game? It has fallen all the way down so far in priority. I haven't really liked Lilac's Lissandra, I will say. But it's definitely a viable option, especially with you're trying to get a lot of damage out of Cassiopeia. We could see Gnar.
I'm worried about this Gnar pickup if they go for it. I don't know about this.
Marin tried it out the other day. It, I don't think was that strong anymore. It's even more difficult to play around that ultimate than ever.
Got some time to decide yet.
I think they're just going to go for it. They want Lilac on a tank. That he performs way better on a tank than he does on some of these casters or squishier top laners.
It's true.
So that'll be it. And Gnar able to harass Maokai a bit early with that ranged auto attack of the boomerang.
All right, well, can Lilac handle what Marin could not? Now the two final picks over on the Samsung side. They need a mid and a jungle. Probably going to be Nidalee and Karthus. Okay. Yeah, just playing a little bit safe. And if Karthus stays back and plays safe, this gives Nidalee, gives Eve a chance to really focus on those side lanes, just like we see Najin doing.
Yeah, and especially with Nidalee, with Karthus too, there's just a really huge amount of burst damage. When you consider the Graves also, there's a lot of kill pressure onto that bottom lane just simply due to tremendous amounts of damage coming out of Samsung. Does make them perhaps a bit too reliant on AP, considering if Graves mispositions once, his short range means that he can get dominated in team fights and it shut down with some ease. Doesn't have the luxury of hanging back. So looks like that will be another Karthus.
Cool.
First team outside of Najin to play that champion.
And will we see the Cassiopeia from Frozen? Another farming-oriented champion. Okay, but he might go with that Lissandra instead.
I'm really dying to see his Cassiopeia.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think it would be a very interesting matchup with both players trying to dodge some of these skill shots on the ground, the poison or the lay wastes. A lot of.
Well, now he's just kind of messing with us. Could be a mid Lucian. You never know. This was the thing at one point.
It was, and those AD champions very good against Karthus, able to deal a lot of harassment in the laning phase.
Oh, but are we going to see Frozen's Victor instead?
Good poke.
Yeah, certainly
mean
good.
Some nice damage onto the Karthus.
Yeah, I think Victor is going to be
Nice. All right.
Yep.
So finally, one of the most legendary Victor players in Korean solo queue gets his hands on this champion. Victor has yet to lose a game in Champions, and 3 different teams have played him so far. This makes number 4.
Well, I think Victor as well is going to make it very hard for Graves to really get in and do a lot of damage. The zoning is just so strong. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I think the main concern, too, is their ability to kite with the gravity field against the shorter range of Karthus and against Graves. So this is going to be tough for Samsung. They'll have some nice poke, but for Samsung, this really is all about putting down and getting some kills in the early game. And Samsung's proved that they have the talent to do that in the past. They have hard CC in the top lane to help out with the Karthus ultimate, and then they've got a huge amount of burst in bottom, especially once they hit 6. So Nidalee is going to have a lot of ganking options in the side lanes, but Frozen here will be trying to poke down this Karthus as much as possible in mid. It's up to him to kind of control that champion and make sure that he can't contribute too heavily onto some ganks.
Should be cool. Here we go. Samsung's going to try to tie it up, or will IM get the 2-0? It's time to get in the game and find out. And here we go. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, Samsung versus IM, game number 2. Wow. Big fans for IM. Global fans even. Even, yeah. We found one.
I always like watching Eve's Nidalee.
Yeah.
It's disappointing that more players here in Korea haven't picked up on that champion. We've talked about it before. Most confusingly, Ambition has not.
Yeah, we just chatted about that last night. Ambition just used to play a ton of Nidalee in mid lane, so why not jungle? It's the same champion, man.
Well, sort of. It has been reworked since the time he played it, but
It's not.
his skill shots certainly.
Yeah, the spears still fly the same way. They don't do quite as much crazy damage, but
Yeah, they changed the hitbox a little bit on those, but in any case, you'd think that that would be a prime example of a jungler to go for if you're Ambition, but we just haven't seen it. Eve checking out Brush real quick, not going to find anything in there, but will be seen by a ward. Pops down a trap at the red buff.
okay.
Some additional information as much as he can and starts trapping up the Gromp in the meantime.
Yeah. All right, that was interesting. Well, just waiting. The anticipation.
Lane swap from Incredible Miracle.
Yeah.
So we won't see that 2v2 yet again. I am disappointed. I do like seeing Fury and Wraith in a 2v2. They are one of the more aggressive combos, but you really can't blame Incredible Miracle considering how Tucson has done roaming in a lot of the games that they've had. Freeing him up does seem to be of prime importance to IM as they make their plays early on the map. And he will have that opportunity once again, a little bit more freedom. And they also have Gnar, who does have that ranged auto attack, and so does tend to be quite strong in that lane swap. And recall all ready for Wraith. He will walk up into that top side, see if he can get any work done. But Lilac having no trouble getting some experience here. He's hidden in that brush. He's just been standing there so far. He hasn't even tried to CS. He's being a little bit sneaky, Doa. There he comes out.
Sneakiness is over as Fury picks up that level 3 rather. And Lilac should be able to farm under turret pretty easily.
Yeah, so they couldn't get the lane freeze right away, so IM is able to pick up a few more of those minions. Cuvée hits 2 on his shared jungle expedition. And Wraith just here all by his lonesome, finally is joined by a teleport. So it looks like everything's going to be about even in the end. But they have to deal with this freeze that's incoming. But Wraith's presence right there should make it pretty safe.
Yep. So with this lane swap, you know what? Oh, here we go. Gank on the Frozen here. The spear lands. Frozen flashes immediately, not taking any chances, and I can't blame him.
No,
So
you have to get out of that one immediately. It's so dangerous. This early game Nidalee does a huge amount of damage.
well, you went Ghost Flash as well, too, so really playing it on the safe side.
Yeah, I like that too. Again, it's going to be about the kiting for Incredible Miracle in the late game against the relatively short range Ace trying to hit. Just misses both lay waste right there. Instead, takes a Q from Frozen. But yeah, it really is going to be about him dodging a lot of these skill shots and kiting out his opponents. So that will be very helpful in this game, not needing that cleanse like we see our mid victors run from time to time. Eve hopping around in the enemy jungle. Will take a Crud. Lots of deep wards early for Samsung. Trying to get that nice setup, make sure they can punish anything, and trying to hurt this immobile Victor. Frozen will sidestep the spear, but it's another reminder that Nidalee is prowling around.
Yeah, and with Flash down, Frozen really can't take any chances anymore at this point. Ghost only helps you so much. Yeah, so I'm just curious to see, how IM is going to try to maneuver out of this one. Samsung already with a little bit of pressure. And if Eve can turn that into a couple kills, Samsung could get that lead that they were looking for in game number 1.
Yeah, I'd just be really worried about the late game.
Yeah.
For me, Samsung really needs to make some plays here early, and I have this feeling that Samsung just kind of messed up again. They really, I think, wanted the 2v2 and the 1v1 in both of these last games just so they would have that increased kill pressure. And without that ability to snowball off of the Karthus in the 2v2 and the 1v1, it's just, I just feel it's not optimal for them. Samsung had those winning lanes in the first game. In this game, they really have to make plays on the side lanes, but they really limit their opportunities. In a 1v1 or a 2v2, you have two choices between what you can make, but Samsung simply really isn't going to be able to find an edge to gank the top side, so that limits them to Frozen, who at least has his flash down. But there's no hard CC from the Karthus, so Samsung is going to try here. They do see the support in top, so they want to make a play on the Dragon.
Early Dragon for Samsung. Lilac there to harass a little bit. Tucson coming down. Ace throws up that wall of pain, but now they're going to go in onto him. So Ace in a lot of trouble here. Flashes away. Will it be a kill anyway? Yes, it will, and that goes to Frozen. First blood gold is going to be nice, and that shield should keep Tucson safe. It will. Oh, Lilac dodges that spear. That may have ended his life there.
Yeah, Lilac not TPing for that one. Did lay down a bit of harassment to the Dragon, and ultimately Incredible Miracle will trade the first blood for that, but they're going to be pretty happy, I think, by making that trade, just because Frozen, with the first blood gold, is going to be able to turn that into some nice damage, already upgrading his Hex Core.
Yep.
Ace will have more than likely quite a few problems after that.
Well, it's certainly the person you want to have kills on right now if you're IM. That Victor damage, as we've seen, is just crazy once the game gets going.
Oops.
Oh. That crafty Rift Sculler, man, he's so agile.
Eve decides not to take it out in the end. Instead, wants to defend a little bit. Tucson's attempt to take out the pink ward does put in a trap in the tri-brush. Keeping some more eyes on Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai will walk through that brush to put a tunnel down into the river at times, so it's a helpful trap to have if Rek'Sai isn't paying attention. Frozen, I mean, Ace is getting tanky, but he really has very low damage right now.
Sure enough, and a bit of action down the bot lane. Sunstar, oh, the death sentence just barely misses. There's a culling, and they do a decent amount. Sunstar is up in CS right now. But no kills still. Looks like they'll be able to successfully hand that blue buff over to Frozen.
Stuns up that golem just to help Aries a little bit with the sustain, and ooh,
Yep.
that was close. Went down to 1 HP there.
Yeah.
Before he cleaned it up with the rest of his skills after
All
the
part of
death
the
ray,
plan.
and there we go, a little bit of an all-in. Fury and Wraith.
Yeah, can they make something happen here? Wraith waiting, not a lot of mana. And still waiting for that whirlwind cooldown. They use the exhaust to end the summoner heal. Oh, here we go, Eve. Maybe coming in, a spear goes through, and nice dodge from Tucson. He was already moving that direction. A little bit lucky there.
And Lilac having some trouble up against the Maokai in the top side. He has fallen behind in CS, going for the Hex Drinker first.
That makes sense.
Eve now attempting to push down this turret, capitalize on the low HP of Incredible Miracle. And that's one of the advantages of jungling Eve, or jungling Nidalee, though, is that that heal does give that extra attack speed. So if you're with your AD carry, you can siege down really quickly if you manage to chunk them out.
Yep.
With your spears or in some other fashion.
Looks like Samsung's just interested in pushing this lane as hard as they can right now and taking the turrets. And after they were pushed around the map basically the entire game by IM last time, I'm not surprised at all.
Oh, Fury got grabbed.
He does. He gets pulled in there. Manages to get out with the flash, though. Ares is right there. That was a close call for Fury.
Still a really unnecessary flash to have burned.
Yep.
10 seconds up until Requiem, as our observer is showing us right now, so we're waiting for that ability to come up, or Eve can maybe finish off some of these kills. The Fury, no ult right now, so the burst may not be there. Eve coming around into the mid side, does have a pink ward, but was seen on the red in the river brush right there.
And Frozen does have his flash up again now. So he's not quite as vulnerable as he was before, but Eve is still going to maybe make an attempt here. No, guess not. All right.
Samsung going with the double catalyst. If Kuve goes for the Rod of Ages in this game, I'd be very worried about them. He has to get Righteous Glory with this composition due to the kite ability that IM has and the fact that they have to close with this Karthus and this Graves. So I imagine that's what we're going to see. If not, even if he, not only will it be bad in that fashion, but double Rod of Ages, Samsung just hasn't proven their ability to really play a long game.
In the top lane, it can't go to Kuve. Is going to come in with the twisted advance. There's a flash. Nice death sentence from Tucson, and he's going to bring in Ares for the kill. That's 2 now for IM.
Wrapping it up, and there's Tusin's roaming coming into full force right there, really turning around that lane, which Lilac was struggling in. However, that does cause them to lose their grip on the bottom side turret. Lilac.
In onto Lilac. A little bit dangerous for the moment there. Whoa, nice dodge on the spear.
Yeah, Lilac not even having to flash right there, so not too much of an issue. Does have that early Hex Drinker, helps him out a lot.
Kube did have to use his flash in that gank, and he ended up dying anyway.
He's going Rod of Ages, Doa.
Yes, he is. Well, see how it goes.
I really just don't think that's what they need right now, because how is this Karthus going to engage? They're not going to build Talisman onto Janna more than likely. And so Incredible Miracle has the tools to kite pretty much all day.
Yeah. You never know, though, Monty. I mean, Talisman is one of Janna's recommended items. So, you know, maybe Wraith will see that and he's like, yeah, good idea. Good idea, Riot. I will go Talisman.
I will go Talisman this game, even though I didn't even start Coin.
Yeah. Well, you can start Spell Thief's Edge and swap it over later on.
That is how
you don't do that a lot on Janna, though.
Yeah, most Annie players do it these days.
Yep, that's what I do.
But in any case, the Rod of Ages not only not a Righteous Glory, which of course has its inherent problems, but it also just makes it so this Samsung team has a really long ramp. And Samsung has tried strategies in the past where they've wanted to run double tier and start playing and scaling into the late game, and it just hasn't worked for them.
Yeah. Slow is just not something that Samsung does well. They certainly do best when they're getting in there, trying to be aggressive early on, get kills. They got the first dragon. Can they get the second one now? Looks like they're not trying it quite yet. Yeah, the lack of aggression by Samsung, the very slow ramp up for the items on these champions hasn't gone well for them in the past.
They do have a very strong composition in the late game, though, but that...
If they get there.
If they get there, and also their composition is predicated on the fact that they can actually close that gap. And when we think about how much CC IM has and the ability to peel with Thresh's box, as well as Lucian dashing, and the speed gain from the Victor Q, as well as the... there's just too much CC to go through. There's a Gnar ult, there's a Rek'Sai knock-up, there's a gravity field from Victor, there's the box, and the Flay. How are you going to get this Karthus within range of his abilities before he just gets melted by Victor? I'm not sure how that's going to work. As long as IM doesn't get flanked and they can just run straight backwards, I don't see good things in spite of Samsung's theoretical damage. I think practically without that Righteous Glory, they will be sunk.
Well, we'll see. Samsung moving in onto this dragon here, but there's a lot of wards. IM knows what's up, and will they collapse onto this Lilac?
Good timing, actually. Lilac just turning back into the Mini-Gnar right in the nick of time. They're going to TP anyway. They want this.
Oh, they get the dragon, and here comes the teleport. Lilac comes down, but meanwhile, Kube on the Sansar in the backlines. Kube just gets blown up. Yeah, not a lot of tankiness on him quite yet. Chaos Storm chasing Eve around to the river.
Still, Samsung ends up with the 1-for-1 and the dragon out of that, so Lilac and his IM friends really not able to put up much of a fight for the objective.
Oh, ouch. Wall of pain. Oh, he hops over the lay waste, though. Really annoying poke. Now this mid lane turret momentarily in a bit of trouble. It actually takes quite a bit of damage. Took them longer to clear that wave than I thought it would. Also, Samsung, both dragons already. And also a turret.
Yeah, Frozen trying to go for this more harass-oriented build. Actually, Distortion enchantment very early with the Ghost and the Flash. Just more ways for him to kite this one out. Samsung, if they don't get a big lead, will run out of those engagement options the longer this game goes on. And they're down in gold just slightly. The only thing they really have going for them are a couple dragons right now, but as long as IM can fight 4, 3, and 4, I don't really perceive them as having too many issues. But they have to make sure they set up a little bit further in advance. A lot of it will depend on how well Lilac can farm. He needs to get tanky.
Yep, and he's staying even with the in CS with Kube. 1-0-1. I would say kind of doing everything he can at the moment with that Gnar.
Yeah, he is really heavy in MR right now, though, and Fury has been farming, does have an Infinity Edge, so he needs to complete his probably fail, I would think, and then hope that he has some time to pick up an armor item before some of these major engagements go down.
Yeah, I wonder if we're maybe just going to see him skip finishing an MR item and just go for something like Randuin's.
Yeah, that's a possibility with the Cowl, because he already has the Hex Drinker and the Merc Treads. He doesn't actually need to finish the Veil immediately. I think that would be...
He's got 3 MR items already.
Yeah, I think that would actually be better. To stop building MR right now.
I agree.
And then move into something else, especially since Maokai's going to take a few more minutes to actually scale into that Rod of Ages. He does have a bit of leeway right there.
The Veil is not really going to do you a lot of good either, since it can be popped so easily by like a lay waste or a spear or something. But
I agree with you. Well, blocking a spear is pretty good. Blocking a lay waste is not so excellent.
Oh, Kube taking a lot of damage. Lilac kind of owning him right now. There's Meganar. He's going to throw him against the wall. There's a knock-up. Lilac going for the 1v1, and Kube, he's still got that flash.
Boulder?
Waited for it. Kube with reflexes, though. Got the flash.
Good patience right there. Kube still having a lot of hard time. Doesn't even really make a dent in Gnar, and that's part of the issue with going with one of those scaling items, is that you just don't have the power immediately.
Yeah.
It looks like he only has a couple stacks on that.
And here's where IM is going to start to take down some turrets. It looks like they'll get the top one first, and looks like they might be gunning for the bottom turret in the near future here too.
Yeah, that does even up the turret score at least, so IM starting to lose control, or Samsung rather, starting to lose control of their advantages that they picked up. And I think we should just see some more passive farming, at least for the moment. Next Dragon will be a very telling team fight, however.
Yeah. Well, Ace still doing what he can to farm, and he's been farming pretty well. Frozen, though, keeping right up with him.
Yeah, Frozen actually, I think it's a bit surprising that he hasn't been able to harass more. We saw Faker playing so aggressively with that early Sork shoes
It's just a
in
very...
his lane, but
Yeah.
it's like Frozen happy just evening things out in farm, doesn't want to take any risks that might result in his death, considering that there has been a premium placed on ganking him this game and no flash available either.
I think any Victor looks fairly passive compared to Faker's Ignite Flash Victor.
That was actually crazy. I can't even believe that he was able to dodge so many of those Ahri skill shots.
Yeah.
Seems like a very dangerous way to play Victor in that matchup, considering his immobility and Ahri really taking advantage of champions that don't have any movement to avoid charm. Of course, Victor does have a bit of a speed boost on the cube, but that's it.
Faker doesn't play by your rules, man.
He doesn't.
He plays how he wants to play.
Which is ultra aggressive all of the time, pretty much.
Yep. Pretty awesome. I am thinking about going into the mid lane there.
Yeah, they really need this setup right now. This is the Dragon that they've decided that they want to fight for, that they want to get up and running with. Although Kube is going to be able to go back. We'll see if he can actually pick up a Warden's Mail right now. No, it's going to be a Glacial Shroud instead, going for the Frozen Heart.
Yep.
Looking for some damage. Don't find Victor in range of any of those skill shots. Actually, IM is giving up a lot right here. They just worked to put down this vision. Now they're going to lose everything. They backed off pretty early.
Wow.
But Pink Ward's not in position right now for Samsung. They actually have put them too far over to the left-hand side.
It looks like IM's going to be able to take the bottom turret out of this, and Sunstar should be able to rotate back in time for Dragon. They've always got that Rift Scuttler too, so.
Yeah, that is very nice for them to have, but they are separated right now. Samsung may be able to take advantage of that. Lilac still needs to protect his turret as Kube tries to turn this one around. He's having a bit of indecision right there. He's just running back and forth at the moment.
Yeah.
Needs to figure out where the hell he's going. Waiting for Maokai to appear as though he's going back. Now Gnar is going to show up in the mid lane, and here's the Dragon attempt, already started by Incredible Miracle.
Yeah, IM gets it going. Lilac about to go Mega Gnar. There's a teleport coming in from Kube. IM backing off for just a moment, back into the river. Lilac Off with Kuro, and he's going to come in. There's a Meganar. Doesn't really get a chance to ult quite yet, waiting for it, and a kill already coming in for Fury. Wraith pushing people back a bit. Kuro, or Frozen rather, went down so fast. I just assume every victor is Kuro now, apparently. And Tucson trying to find Wraith. He does, but he can't quite get him with the death sentence.
And they still want to fight this. Lilac is going to push it. They want to get some sort of advantage or trade something for this dragon, but they're not going to get a whole lot. And that was really poor splitting from Incredible Miracle. Frozen was caught in a choke.
Dragon taken by Samsung. That's their third one now. I am really dropping the ball in this second game.
Yeah, there were a lot of pink wards on that side in particular of the river. Is Samsung going to get a tower out of this as well? Looks like it. At least one, so gold creeps back closer to even.
Yep.
But Samsung gets a couple of objectives and a kill. And take a look at this as well. Frozen and Lilac right there. Frozen gets left high and dry, however. Lilac goes in, but he's caught in a choke. And so it's really quite simple for Karthus to walk up to him and exhaust him.
Yeah, Fury just blew him up with his ult too. Looks like IM's going to respond with the turret of their own, so they will have all the outer turrets down after this at least.
Yeah, with this composition again, that's not how IM wants to play team fights. They
Janus shield.
They have to be grouped together and they have to kite. Because if they make it so easy for Karthus to get in on them and for Fury to hit with his ultimate, it's going to be problematic. And there's that other shield.
It's twice now. That turret has 8 health.
Well, they're not going to be able to save it off the next wave, so.
No. There we go. All right, all 3 outer turrets down in favor of IM, and they may have lost those dragons. Oh, but they grab Ace. There comes the damage, and they kill Karthus very quickly. Goes to Lilac in the end, and everyone just backing off.
Ace should not have flashed right there. That was just a total waste of that ability, considering there wasn't any follow-up, and he died very quickly. Also, they didn't really have any vision up in that side of the jungle, so it would be dangerous to pursue too deeply.
Oh, Meganar threatening here. Lilac coming in. Kube gets locked up. He's going to twist the advance forward and then flash away. Yeah, with Lilac at Meganar right now, it's really dangerous for Samsung, but IM still gets pushed back in the end.
Oh. Lilac has so much MR, he's basically impervious to those spears right now. He did finish off his Veil before going for armor, but it has worked so far.
I guess so.
Well, I don't know what Ace is going to do at this point. He's going for a death cap. That is not going to increase his survivability.
Oh, just trying to get as much damage as he can.
Last little Raptor, so a minor win.
Now Fury looking for a kill on Tucson, but he's not going to find it. Yep.
Oh, I think this is going to be disappointing. If IM doesn't break up their formation and they can just stay grouped, they should have a very easy time closing this, but they already made that mistake around the last one.
Yeah.
I don't think Frozen expected Lilac to go in like that in the last engagement. His buddy just kind of jumped right in and left him high and dry.
It gets exciting to be Meganar sometimes. You know, you feel like you have to use it immediately.
Right away, without delay.
You must Meganar immediately.
Still, in spite of everything, Samsung is quite deadly in terms of how many dragons they've already stacked up. So they have a chance to win this if they can threaten the dragon enough times. That is going to be their key. If they don't maintain that vision control around the dragon, they will probably never get one again. And they also can't let Incredible Miracle get into the river because that's where they'll be able to kite. They need to clog a choke and make sure that they can never group efficiently. And that requires that vision control because they won't walk into river if they can't see what's going on.
You'd hope so anyway.
Well, if they do, they die anyway, so. Make that risk as great as possible.
A dragon in 2 minutes now. IM really needs to get this one. They can't let Samsung have that 4-dragon pressure.
No, they cannot. So this is going to be a bit of the moment of truth for IM, as well as Samsung, because everyone is just 100% focused on that in this game. And Ace is just not an Aegis death cap. Be much more helpful for him to have a flash and a Zhonya's, I think. You know, you get the lesser amount of AP from those items. You just need as many ways to engage safely as you can.
And so the waiting game continues. 1 minute until Dragon, and then it's going to get exciting.
Yeah, certainly. Well, may actually get exciting before that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just a ridiculous number of wards on the map right now.
Yeah.
From both teams. At the very least, Samsung is playing a nice defensive game. Their warding in the top side is letting them farm safely, at least, so they don't fall any further behind unnecessarily. Eve, too, laying down traps left and right, trying to catch somebody out, so Lilac will be returning right away for this Dragon. But the Vision Edge for Incredible Miracle right now.
That's right.
Ares takes a spear, but will be able to heal up with his Rage on the Rek'Sai. And now it's a battle over that minion wave in the mid lane. Nice little sidestep right there.
Yeah, Frozen has to keep moving if he wants to dodge those spears.
Actually, probably shouldn't have taken the Lantern right there, but ends up clearing out the ward in the end. Lilac gets his shield popped by a smoke screen, actually.
Yep. Here we go. It's Dragon time. I am in position. Can Samsung stop this one? They've gotten 3 already this game.
Well, Samsung didn't hold the river while they were in the choke. Ooh, they have a nice flank, though.
They do. Kuvei could come from the side twos and misses that death
That's really
sentence.
helpful for them.
Lilac's about to go Mega Gnar, though. Oh, but he takes a lot of damage from Fury at the very last moment, and Samsung may be able to muscle out IM. We'll see. They're going to have to wait out the Mega Gnar now. And that's IM's cue to just walk in. They know they've got the edge as long as Lilac has that, but it's about to go away.
Yeah, it's just so much shorter now than it used to be.
Yeah.
Of course, that recovery time longer. This is the reason why we have seen Gnar fall out of favor, because Samsung will take control over the Dragon. Sonstar in bottom lane. This is great flanking from Kuvei, though. He's preventing them from actually going for this Dragon 100%.
Oh, that Dragon's taking some damage from Samsung. It's going back and regenning a little bit of health here and there. And here we go. Fury coming in. It's a fight over the Dragon. Who gets it? It will be Nidalee. Samsung gets it. Meanwhile, the fight breaks out. I am backing away. Wraith used a nice ult for the disengage, and Samsung, can they get away free? Wraith in a little bit of trouble here.
Ghost from Frozen, but I don't think he's actually going to be able to catch anybody. No, he's not.
Doesn't look
and
like it.
Smite not even used by Ares, I don't think, in that fight. Yeah, it wasn't. So,
wow, that's 4
miscalculation.
Dragons
so now Samsung finds a way to knock on the door, and that was really good positioning actually by Kuvei. IM couldn't kite based on his positioning, so they were very reluctant to commit fully to that Dragon.
It's bizarre to see IM get all the Dragons really in the first game, and now in game 2 just can't seem to get a single one.
Well, the poke is pretty significant from Samsung, and they've managed to make it work a couple of times, either because IM was a little bit late to the Vision game, or in that time because there was that threat of a flank. So IM, their hope right now is, I guess, sort of outscaling Frozen.
Yeah. Well, Tucson has a pretty quick Aegis, and that's going to help a lot with the Requiem, with the Karthus damage, things like that. It's a really good buy.
That's a great point.
This has been actually a day of supports being very good about adapting their builds.
I agree. That has been an interesting theme today, from the QSS to the Zeke's Herald to now that earlier Aegis than we would normally see.
Yeah. You've got Ares going for the Randuin, so you're going to have double that, as Lilac has picked up his now. Just a Scepter for Frozen. Yeah, so IM, you know, they're giving up all these Dragons, but it seems like they do have the capacity to team fight.
Yeah, just late game Karthus, still late game Karthus. It really does depend a lot on Kuvei, because if he can continue to at least threaten these flanks, but stay far enough away that IM can't catch him or collapse on him on one side like he did in that last fight, they're going to be so reluctant to come in because any kind of pincer attack with this Karthus and this Maokai is going to be ridiculously devastating. So that's what they want to go for. They can also do a Baron really fast. Samsung.
Yep.
So will be in the back of Incredible Miracle's mind as well.
Well, Tucson backing on top of a ward there. Up, throws a hook in. Doesn't quite hit Fury though. And if they would have hooked Fury, that would have been very bad for Samsung. But Samsung playing well this game.
Yeah, they have shown a bit more patience right here. They actually have gotten over the hump of these scaling items without falling too far behind.
Yeah.
So they're making it work. Ace did take I think at least one of those deaths early on was a bit unnecessary, but at least has kept up in terms of farm, and a late game Karthus is still a huge hyper carry threat.
You know, I just really wonder what would have happened if we added Lilac on like Mundo or something like that instead of Gnar.
Yeah, that's a great question. Of course, he certainly could have gone the Mundo.
Yeah. I feel like that would have been a little bit more useful this time.
Gnar has not looked top tier since his latest round of nerfs.
Yeah.
Seemed those just a few seconds shaved off, but it really has made a huge amount of difference.
Yep, the coordination that Gnar takes is just a little bit rough. I am going for a very tricky Baron. Look at this. I don't know if they can actually do it.
Wow, that is sneaky.
Sunstar getting a little bit low
two-man
here.
and Lilac taking most of this damage.
I don't think they can do this. Ares coming in now.
They have the pressure for it, and it does. I think they're going to get it, Doa.
Wow, they actually will. When Ares showed up, they'll be able to do it. Tucson coming in to help out. And now Samsung knows. They see Tucson there, and that's a very, very smart Baron for IM. And that may be exactly what they need to get back into this game.
And Ace not going to ult right there, even though some of the members were quite low. If he had ulted during some parts of that Baron pit, that was a pretty big risk that Incredible Miracle took, because all that needed to happen was that a scrying orb had to go in there or another ward had to be placed, and then a Karthus ult could have just devastated them while they were attempting to do that Baron. So risky play by IM, but it comes out in the end, and now they're just going to start pushing as hard as they can on these side lanes, breaking Samsung up.
Yeah, makes sense. Got some strong pushes coming too. And it's interesting, if you look at the gold totals, it is 3K ahead for IM right now. They are a turret up, a few kills as well, but those dragons, really, I mean, the thing keeping Samsung in this game.
Well, what a great timing from IM too, because Dragon up in 45, that Baron buff will still be there to help them out in any kind of engagement that happens. So it was a great call from Incredible Miracle, bypassing those wards and playing pretty tricky.
Might finally be time to fight one for IM.
As long as Tucson doesn't take a huge chunk of damage from these spears. Eve's build is so threatening. It just does an incredible amount of damage.
Yeah, Lilac coming in. Almost Mega Gnar again. He has timed it fairly well in these last couple fights. It just doesn't last very long, you know?
Yeah, and Samsung's had that patience to make sure that they don't have to deal with
they grabbed Kube. Not exactly the person they want to pick up, but they get a little bit of damage onto him.
This is great to sustain with his AP, and IM has taken a lot of poke damage so far.
Yeah, they are. Okay, here we go. They're going to try to go for the dragon. It's going down very, very quickly. Will it be taken? Yes, IM does get it. Meanwhile, Kube comes in, but it's a 1v5 as Samsung seems reluctant to engage. Frozen picks up that kill, sends the Chaos Storm out. That was a bit odd. Samsung just kind of watched Kube die there.
Not to mention that Kube could have easily been flanking again over the course of that fight, which would have made IM a lot less confident to go off and make a play right there, but instead IM does secure their first dragon of the game. That's a huge buff.
I feel like Kube just
35 minutes
there.
into this game.
Samsung's like, yeah, go in, we'll be right behind you. It's like, okay. Then nothing.
Wow, they're actually backing off this turret. Victor not there, neither is Gnar, but teleport could be used by Lilac at any point. However, they just lost a huge minion wave.
This is the point, too, though, where that first dragon actually makes a big difference for IM.
That actually was pretty massive. 35 minutes of the game, getting that AD and AP right now, especially since it's magnified by the Baron buff.
Yep.
Or the Baron buff is magnified by it, rather. To be completely accurate.
Bot lane tier 2 taken now by IM. They're up 4-2 turrets. extending that gold lead, and Lilac has still not lost his tier 1 up in top. Wow.
Yeah, not sure if that's going to be the best use of his time right now. IM did get a tier 2 down at the very least, but they have to keep putting on the pressure right now. Frozen with the blue buff will help with that, and Baron buff is gone. I believe. Couldn't quite see it on that one.
It is.
So only one tier 2, but they actually managed to fight back and prevent that 5th dragon stack. So at least delaying the game by a little bit and taking what they could. And that's the time perhaps IM needed to keep on scaling right now. Frozen is becoming very scary indeed. And Lilac, a few more completed items, I think, thanks a lot to that global gold.
Well, he's got Thornmail now too, which is really nice. And Sunstar, yeah, everyone seems to be about even item-wise. Wow, a Thornmail on Ares too.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty bad. Although, going for the double Thornmail when you still don't have any magic resistance on Ares is a bit odd, considering that most of their composition is outputting magic damage. So I don't know about that. Probably a more efficient way to itemize in terms of a Banshee's Veil in this game. With I'd be very scared of Nidalee and Karthus right now, especially since he's been on the front line and taking a lot of poke. The only thing he really has is a Merc Tread. I think that the Banshee's Veil would be highly useful in attempting to handle Eve right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Eve more than likely going to get the Void Staff next as well, just to keep up with that penetration. 2 minutes left on this Baron. Would be pretty risky for IM to take, but maybe they could actually get a pick.
Well, they've got all 3 lanes pushing in their favor right now, so just concentrating on getting as much pressure going across the map as they can. I wonder if it's like 2 feet under the ground is just solid bedrock, and that's why Rek'Sai can't burrow any deeper.
I think she just is mal-evolved. You already said it was because it was sand, and so she can't burrow through anything harder.
Could be.
Which makes her very out of her environment for Summoner's Rift. Here we go.
Yeah, they're trying to come in. Kube coming in with the home guard. Sunstar backing away. They're going to jump onto Frozen. He's going to zone his immediately, but Ace is right there. There's the exhaust, keeping Frozen locked up. He does drop the Chaos Storm, though. That's a double kill for Eve already. I am completely scattered here, and Lilac, Meganar, not going to help him too much at this point. He ults. He's going to go down. Eve with the triple overall that fight. Uh-oh.
And this is why I like watching his Nidalee so much. He's great about finishing off people in these team fights on a very squishy champion. And what a great engage from Kube, too. I am not respecting the possibility of that teleport. They likely just did lose an inhibitor right here. 2-man defense against 5. Now, they're lucky they probably won't lose that last dragon for this, but maybe they will now.
Sunstar just gets completely caught. What more can you say? It's going to be an inhibitor down. And I think they are going to end up giving up that 5th dragon. We'll see. Well, they're just going to keep pushing. Wow.
Yeah, they have
no AD carry for 43 seconds
Wow,
yet.
this is so bold with Victor coming back up. I wouldn't push this any harder than they are right now.
This is starting to look a little bit like ARAM here. Samsung needs to get out of there.
Yeah, they still have Requiem, but there could be a really good opportunity to counter Baron. They know that the teleport is down. Requiem is up, but that's about it. Sunstar, though, they may not have the damage in order to do it, but that is playing with fire, I feel, a little bit.
Yeah, let's watch that fight one more time.
Now, they try and back off, but they haven't cleared their wards for those flanks yet, and indeed, Rek'Sai tries to void rush in, but he's just way too late right there, and Lilac not in position as well, so IM caught with their pants down, and I guess that's what happens.
Yep.
There's so much chase on this team, at least with the Nidalee.
IM certainly needs to play it a bit more carefully. Dragon is going to be up in 20 seconds now. Baron is already up. IM does get the Rift Scuttler. And wow, Samsung's like, all right, yeah, sure, 2nd dragon, we'll just take Baron. I wonder if that's kind of the plan here.
Okay.
Oh, Yomu's activated.
Dangerous play by Fury, dodges the death sentence.
Yep.
that Yomu's Ghost
Teleport
play.
coming
Here's
in
the
for a Lilac.
TP.
He doesn't have Mega now right now. Aries goes in really deep onto Ace here. Tucson on the outside kind of zoning Kube a little bit. Kuro getting a lot of damage onto Eve in the meantime as well. Sanstar has to back off for the moment. Lilac in big trouble. Requiem comes down, takes a big chunk out of IM. They have to back off. This 5th Dragon is going to Samsung.
Well, maybe. The Void Rush is available. They're going to try and trade it.
Oh boy.
Are they going to try and trade it for a Baron?
Aries is way too low to try to Void Rush in and grab something in there. Yep.
Well, he doesn't have home guard boots, so I guess not.
Yep. Well, he had no tunnels nearby either, I suppose.
Could have gone over more towards the Baron with home guard and just tunneled right back into the pit. Tried for that one, but Samsung now, oh boy, looks like I am playing on their back foot at this stage.
Yeah, now Samsung going for this Baron. Fury on the outside of the pit. Can IM do anything to stop this? Keep in mind, yeah, this is a 5 Dragon Samsung right now. Frozen poking as much as he possibly can, but we'll see if Aries can steal it. It's all down to this. They're going to go in. The Descendants, and no, Nidalee gets the Baron. It will go to Samsung, so now that's a Baron. That's 5 Dragons. They're going to recall, and then they're going to try to end this game and tie up the series.
Wow, that would be a pretty extraordinary end to this game after Samsung dropping out on that sneak Baron from Incredible Miracle, but yeah. IM breaking up in their siege in that last one gave Samsung a very unique opportunity to engage, and IM has, I think, misplayed this composition multiple times. They've been splitting up when they needed to stay together, and that has really cost them.
Frozen's Victor, despite all the hype, has not really delivered too much this game as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It seems like his positioning hasn't been the greatest.
Well, his team hasn't been with him, too, and he has to have them there in order to kite and peel.
Does make it harder.
Yeah, he does just get kind of grabbed. Wow, Eve taking a huge amount of damage from that Death Ray.
Heals right back up, though. Oh, nice nice jump there.
Well, they're going to have to give up this tier 2, no question about that. They have too many super minions in that mid lane. Someone has to be sent back in order to deal with it.
Yeah.
Aries also, I really don't like his itemization. I think that picking up that quicker Thornmail was a mistake because you can see him just getting chunked so hard in some of these engagements. Grabs the lantern, gets back. They can't defend that turret after that spear lands.
Yep, he's going to go down. Kube with that Iron Elixir too. And I don't think IM can stop this one either. Nope, just going to walk in. Kube too tanky. He's going to just advance onto Lilac. Here comes Ace trying to get into the team. The Arcane Smash keeps people separated for a moment. Sanstar turns onto Ace. There's the Zonias now. Frozen right there as well, too. Can he kill him with the Death Ray? No, not quite. Wraith getting some nice healing off. There goes another inhibitor, and IM push all the way back. There goes the first Nexus turret. Doesn't look like IM can stop this at all. Yeah, there's a kill onto Frozen. And Ace manages to get one onto Aries. There goes Nexus turret number 2. There goes the Nexus. Looks like we're going to game 3. Samsung takes it. GG.
Wow, Lilac in that last fight threw Karthus and Maokai into his team, literally exactly the opposite of how you want to play that team composition. But nice close there from Samsung as they methodically controlled the Dragons. Will they be able to pull out their first match win of the season as we do go into the 3rd game of this set?
Well, if IM plays like that again, then yeah, I think they definitely could.
And now we've seen, ever since these nerfs, a couple really underwhelming performances on Gnar, and I just don't think he's better than Mundo, like you were saying, Noah, at this point in time.
I agree, yeah.
And that Maokai kind of taken over in that king of the top lane tank role.
Yep, a victory for Samsung.